Got breaking news coming in right on the top of newsroom tonight. A terrible terror attack has struck the Amarnath Yatra. At least 6 yatris are dead. What you're seeing on your screen right now are the latest images from South Kashmir, where this Yatra bus was plying late into this evening. The CRPF is now confirming that 6 people are dead, 14 injured. The official convoy of Yatris moved out at 4 p.m. The road opening party was withdrawn at 7:30. So this is a vehicle that was essentially plying without any security. This wasn't registered as part of the Amarnath Yatra security arrangements. This was a private vehicle plying outside of the time when security are on the ground. An easy target. Very, very unfortunate terror attack this. You're seeing these live and latest images coming in from Anantnag. This particular group of pilgrims was traveling on their own. They had not registered and therefore security forces could not retaliate. This is a big disturbing piece of information coming in from Kashmir. Police party of special operation groups was attacked by 3 terrorists, 3 cops, 2 Amarnath pilgrims. Initially, that's what the report said. Later, that figure going up at least to 6 pilgrims being killed in this Amarnath attack. Now, our reporter on the ground, Ishtaq, sent this initial ground report of what was happening in Anantnag just moments before now.
बिल्कुल आप इस वक्त एक्सक्लूसिव जो तस्वीर देख रहे हो कि यहाँ पे जम्मू श्रीनगर राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग अनंतनाग बटेंगू के पास आज एक बार फिर मिलिटेंट्स ने स्पेशल ऑपरेशन ग्रुप पर हमला किया है। फिलहाल मैं आपको बता दूं कि जम्मू श्रीनगर राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग को यातायात के लिए बंद किया गया है और उसके साथ साथ जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस स्पेशल ऑपरेशन ग्रुप और सेंट्रल रिजर्व पुलिस फोर्स ने पूरे इलाके को कॉर्डन ऑफ कर दिया है। और उसके साथ साथ इस वक्त आप एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीर देख रहे हो कि कैसा माहौल यहाँ पे बना हुआ है। चारों तरफ यहाँ पे इस वक्त कॉर्डन ऑफ कर दिया गया है।
That's our reporter on the ground giving us a sense of what's happening. These are live images from Anantnag, just moments before now being evacuated. You've got the injured being rushed to the hospital. This is very unfortunate and very disturbing because this was a weak spot. Remember, on the 25th of June, India Today had reported that there was an imminent threat to the Amarnath Yatra. This year in particular, the Amarnath Yatra was considered very, very vulnerable. And that's exactly what's happened. A vehicle with the Amarnath Yatris on it being attacked by terrorists late into the evening. This Yatra, and it just sounds totally pointless saying this at this time, but the fact is that this bus was not registered. It didn't have security personnel accompanying it. It really shouldn't have been out there. The time at which you can go with the road opening party is fixed. There's supposed to be huge security arrangements. We've got some voices coming in from Anantnag. Let's listen in.
जो यात्रु है वो पूरी तरह सेफ नहीं है।
Wahidur Rahman of the PDP is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Rahman, can you tell us what's happening on ground zero at this time? How is your government coping with this terror attack?
Well, first of all, I'll say that this is the worst form of terror and killing civilians or security in the night. This attack tells you about the frustration, desperation of militants trying to create a communal tension. An attack on Yatra at a time when Yatra is going on the national highway, although they tried to target security in the first place, and then this whole incident happened. But it's really not only, inhuman. This is really terrorism, worst form of terrorism, you can say, killing civilians. And what sort of jihad azadi or what sort of movement they're talking about? This is inhuman. Those people who are trying to defame Kashmir and Kashmiris, and not only defaming them, but also with an intention to create a Hindu-Muslim communal tension. And there have been efforts from last many months. You've been following and reporting what's happening in Kashmir, how not only they try to destabilize the peace process, destabilize the government, but also to destabilize the harmony in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which is already fractured in the last 60 years of conflict.
Got some reactions coming in now from Mirwais Umar Farooq of the Hurriyat conference. He's saying that as the unfortunate news of the Yatris killing reaches us, leadership and people of Kashmir are saddened and we strongly condemn it. There are also reactions coming in from Praveen Togadia. Enough of big talk abroad today. Jihadis attacked the Amarnath bus pilgrims. At least 7 are dead, many are injured. Can't even protect a planned yatra. Praveen Togadia of the VHP, which is part of the RSS, hitting out at the Modi government. Remember, this particular bus was travelling after the road opening party had already withdrawn. So in some senses, it was a vulnerable spot where the bus should probably not have been travelling, but unfortunately, it was on the road at that time, and that's when terror struck. That's when these terrorists struck. Bhim Singh, Sitaram Yechuri, General Secretary of the CPM, has tweeted moments before now, last killing of pilgrims in a terror attack. The Amarnath Yatra was in 2000 under BJP-led NDA, now again in 2017. How did the situation in Kashmir come to this? This is after 17 years that there has been an attack on the Amarnath Yatra. And remember, as India Today has been reporting, that this particular group of Yatris was travelling without a road opening party. They didn't have escorts with them. They were travelling on their own. They hadn't registered. And therefore, there were no security personnel with them, which is the total opposite of what should really be happening in such a situation. I want to show you now this intelligence alert. This is most urgent, top secret. It's dated the 25th of June. Intelligence input received from SSP Anantnag reveals that terrorists have been directed to eliminate 100 to 150 Yatris and about 100 police officers and officials. The attack may be in the form of a standoff fire on the Yatra convoy, which they believe will result in the flaring of communal tensions throughout the nation. This input is assessed on the basis of human intelligence, though the nature of input needs further corroboration. At this stage, the possibility of some sensational attack cannot be ruled out. All the officers deployed on ground need to be directed to remain alert and to maintain utmost vigil and take all precautionary measures to defeat the nefarious designs of these anti-national elements. All-out efforts need to be taken to nab the terrorists who are planning such attempts of violence. It's sent to the CRPF, it's sent to the police in Srinagar, it's sent to the army headquarters, 15 Corps at Badami Bagh. So this is something that intelligence officials were fearing, and that is exactly what seems to have happened. On the ground, there being a terror attack after a decade and a half. There hasn't been a terror attack so far. For more than a decade, there hasn't been an attack on tourists who've been traveling to the Amarnath Yatra. And in some senses, the reason for that is that it was always felt that this is a symbol of the Sufi traditions of the Kashmir Valley, where you've got Hindu pilgrims coming into a Muslim-dominated state, and they can fearlessly go out for darshan, go to the Amarnath Yatra. That, unfortunately, being disturbed in 2017. This terrible attack taking place. Sujaul Haq is now joining us. We're also getting breaking news coming in that moments before now, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has spoken to Prime Minister Modi. He's given information about this attack and what's being done on the ground. The NSA is also speaking to officials on the ground. This is being called an important meeting. This bus apparently came from Gujarat at 5 p.m. And it left without police escort. I want to go across to Suja ul Haq. He's in Srinagar. He's tracking this. Suja, what's the latest you can tell us?
Well, at this point in time, the entire area, has burdened off. There are more security forces that have been sent to the spot. In fact, I can tell you the top officials, the entire top officials of the J&K police, and other civilian administration has been rushed to Anantnag. They're taking stock of the situation. And the national highway where this attack took place has been, blocked for vehicular movement, for now. But let's remember that there are some important questions that need to be answered. And one of them is the fact that how was this bus, allowed to ply at that point of time where, when the normal yatra is, suspended after 7:30. Why was it traveling without escort? It basically came under, attack because that attack was first mounted at a different security force vehicle. But this vehicle was just after that, flying on the road just after that, and they came under attack at that point of time. So different questions being also leveled at this moment, but the focus remains of making sure that all those people who have been injured are taken to the hospitals, they are given the best treatment, and also trying to figure out where these assailants are after mounting this attack.
Stay with me, Suja. Sudhir Ranjan Sen is joining us. We're just receiving word that Ajit Doval has briefed the Prime Minister. He's also spoken to forces on the ground, trying to get a sense of how to cope with this. This is one of the worst terror attacks, Sudhi, in Kashmir in many years. The Amarnath Yatra hasn't been targeted for more than a decade and a half now.
Yes, I mean, an Amarnath Yatra, very typically you have...
I lost that link with Sudhi. Give me a moment, I'll have him back for you. The Prime Minister speaking to the National Security Advisor, officials of the Ministry of Home Affairs also involved in trying to get a full sense of the situation on the ground. These are latest images that are coming in from Kashmir, latest images from Anantnag. Sudhi Ranjan Sen is now back with us. Sudhi, the Prime Minister speaking to the NSA, what details do you have?
Well, I mean, this is kind of unprecedented, as we have been saying, and as you just said, this is an unprecedented kind of attack. Because this yatra, the Kashmiri population, the local population is also involved. And therefore, we have not seen this kind of an attack in very many years. However, that said, there were these inputs that there would be a spectacular kind of an attack on the yatra, which is why we know for a fact that the military had moved, the army had moved 5 battalions, extra battalions to protect the yatra. The CRPF, the additional CRPF had been moved there to protect it. Given this background, this is going to put a lot of pressure on the government. From what I've been able to gather, there's a minute-to-minute, monitoring that's going on from Delhi at the highest levels, involving the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, and the other security chiefs. And these details are constantly being passed on to the Prime Minister, Rahul.
Okay, and you also filed that story about how this particular batch of tourists didn't have a military escort with them and they were traveling after the road opening party had been withdrawn.
Yes, I mean, that is one of the things that have come up to the center, to New Delhi as the preliminary reports. The preliminary reports, as to the extent that I have been able to gather, talks about a near simultaneous attack, at least 3 near simultaneous attacks that have happened at this stretch. Second, the report points out that yatris are not supposed to travel without a road opening party, without police escorts. Now, these are very typically withdrawn at sundown or a little later after sundown, then the roads are not covered. However, what the initial report suggests is that this group of yatris had not registered and therefore were traveling on their own. There is a very clear advisory that is given to all yatris that you will not travel without escort. You will not travel after ROPs are withdrawn. You will only travel with the escorts, with the police parties that keep covering the yatris all through the day. What the initial report talks about is the fact that they were moving on their own without any security, and as a result of which, when these attacks happened on certain police posts nearby and then on them, there was absolutely no retaliation or no cover. Rahul.
Sudhi, you're saying that the government is evaluating a series of response measures. Any sense yet of what these response measures could entail? At least 6 pilgrims being killed is one of the biggest terror attacks to have happened on the watch of this government.
Well, I mean, it's not yet clear, Rahul, as to what, the nitty-gritties of the response that we are going to see from tomorrow or from tonight. But one thing is clear, it's going to be a very, very strong response. Already we have seen a very strong response in Kashmir. We have seen the military, the Indian Army going back to cordon and search operations after nearly 15 years. And that shows how, how they're trying to tackle the situation. Typically for the viewers, a cordon and search operation would involve, cordoning off an entire village of villages to villages and then searching, going house to house and searching. These were stopped because it put the local population at a disadvantage and therefore, created or aligned the local, alienated the local population from the forces. That had been stopped. But looking at the number of terrorists that Pakistan, that were coming across from Pakistan and Pakistan was continuously aiding, they have had to go back. And in the security circles, this is supposed to be one of the toughest or harsh measures that the army had adopted or was forced to adopt. So
stay with me for a moment. I want to get some reactions. Randeep Singh Surjewala, Chief Spokesman of the Congress Party, now joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Surjewala, a terrible terror attack in Anantnag. How is the Congress Party responding?
Rahul, the news and the pictures that we see, it's deeply shocking. The conscience of the entire nation I'm sure, is shocked, and there are no words to describe this terrible act of terror. 7 people, I'm told, as news reports trickle in, have already died. Dozens are still injured. We would say terrorism has no place, and this act of terror, which is unprecedented perhaps, should make the entire country stand united to fight this terrible tragedy once again. There has to be 3 priorities for the government, as also for everybody involved in the Amarnath Yatra. First, evacuate every single injured person to safety, make sure best treatment is available so that there is no further life that we lose. Also ensure, and not secondly, but also ensure safety of the remaining Amarnath Yatris, so that terrorists cannot target anybody else. And clean this area for heaven's sake, as also see where is the lapse. Maybe today is not the day, but immediately it must be seen where was the security lapse. How did the terrorists slip in a yatra which has been peaceful despite the worst kind of terror history in the state? How does Pakistan push in terrorists who are able to attack the ship huts? So that security breach needs to be seen, found out, plugged, and those held and somebody must be held responsible.
Leave it there. Mr. Surjewala, thank you for joining us. Also at this time is my colleague Padmaja Joshi. She has a graphic representation of where these yatris were when they got attacked. Padmaja, take it away.
All right, Rahul, before that, very quickly, we want to tell our viewers that now the first pictures of the injured who have been taken to hospital has, in fact, they've started coming in. So, Rahul, in fact, we'll just show those pictures, but to give a quick idea of the route that is taken, this is the route that was being taken by the Yatris. This is the direction that they were supposed to go in. And here at Khanabal is where the firing took place on the bus. The bus, as Sudhir has just been mentioning, was unregistered. It was moving after 7:30, which is when the security is withdrawn. So it was without a road opening party. Very quickly, I want to bring in my colleague Sunil Ji Bhatt, a local, someone who has travelled on this route, has an idea of its importance and significance. Very quickly, Sunil, 2 routes. This particular route, describe to us the geography and the significance, and in particular, this area where the attack took place.
There are 2 routes for the Amarnath Yatra, and the attack has taken place in Khanabal area in South Kashmir's Anantnag district. And from Khanabal only, there is a link road which goes towards Pahalgam, which is a base camp for the Amarnath Yatra. And here there was this bus coming from on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway, and this attack took place on this critical road which connects Jammu and Kashmir and the rest of the country with the state. And here Yes, yes. We have just learned that the attack has taken place exactly here on near Khanabal, which falls right on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. It was not registered with the Amarnath Shrine Board, these yatris, and the security has now been tightened across the entire area, and
including in Jammu. In fact, very quickly, Rahul, we want to show these first pictures that are coming in now from hospital, where the injured have since been taken. At least 3 of the injured here are from Gujarat. They were in a bus apparently, which had a Gujarat registration number. Here we can just show a few more. In fact, viewer discretion is advised. These another lady pilgrim who in fact is also injured, since then taken to hospital. So at least 7 people injured so far, and 4 of them have been taken to hospital. These are the first few images that are coming in. Even as we speak, we know that a high-level security meeting is currently underway with the NSA himself present there. Rahul.
Padmaja, we come back to you in just a moment. Our National Affairs Editor Rahul Srivastav is now joining us. The Prime Minister himself keeping a moment-by-moment tab of the situation after this terror attack. Rahul, what can you tell us? Rahul?
Rahul, what top sources in the government are saying that alarm bells are ringing in the Raisina Hills. Prime Minister personally is monitoring every element of it in terms of what really happened, what is the status of the injured, what kind of security arrangements are being made to ensure that there is no repeat, because terrorists, if they have fled, in their wake will like to create yet another point of inflection and then slip out. The National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, is getting feedback and information from the ground. He is apprising the Prime Minister of all the information that is coming in. Also on the task is the Home Minister. Primarily, the sense of worry is that the Amarnath Yatra is one of the most secure arrangements that the Indian security apparatus creates. And an attack like this, in which terrorists could actually strike and then slip away, has not gone down very well within the top echelons of the government. And some kind of a security review is likely as early as tomorrow morning, to ensure that this yatra does not get impacted, because that...
Nabi Azad is speaking at this time. That's Ghulam Nabi Azad. I've got more breaking news coming in. Gaurav Sawant is joining us. Special forces have launched a hunt and destroy operation. Joint operations based on intelligence provided by the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Special Operations Group. Our Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant has more. Gaurav, take it away.
Rahul, at this point of time, what we now know is that Jammu and Kashmir Police Special Operations Group and the Special Forces of the Indian Army, the unit that was deployed there, they are now trying to hunt down these terrorists. So there have been 2 incidents where the terrorists fired and fled. There are some intelligence inputs. Based on that, they're trying to go after these terrorists and see how quickly they can be neutralized, because Rahul, as you're well aware, there was an intelligence input about a yatra being targeted. So while the main yatra went, it was protected by road opening parties and they reached safely, this was one vehicle that seemed to have lagged behind, and there are conflicting reports that seem to indicate perhaps that this one vehicle was not even a part of the yatra, and these yatris were coming back subsequently, and that is where terrorists struck. So did they specifically strike this yatra, or were they striking a team of the Special Operations Group, and the yatris
stay with me. Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, is joining us now. He comes from Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Singh, a terrible terror attack this. What's the government making of this, sir?
No, certainly the government is taking cognizance of the entire sequence of events, but more importantly, what I would like to say is that this is not to be seen simply as an attack on Amarnath pilgrims. It's an attack on, or an assault on, the composite culture of Kashmir and the resilient traditional culture or the traditional Indian civilization. And I think this is also an eye-opener for the apologists who have been talking in different voices. As far as government is concerned, the government follows a policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism, and therefore, regardless of whether the terrorism is imported from a foreign soil or it's originating from the Indian soil, it will be dealt with, because terror is terror is terror.
Okay, and also the fact, sir, that it's been 17 years since there hasn't been a terror attack on the Amarnath Yatra. Usually, terrorists just let the Amarnath Yatris be. It's supposed to be this wonderful symbol of Kashmiriyat and Insaniyat, that you've got these Hindu pilgrims coming in. Despite everything else that may happen elsewhere in the state, the Amarnath Yatra hasn't been targeted.
I agree with you, Rahul, and I would also add to that this should also be a rejoinder to those who keep reminding us day in and day out about the virtues of Kashmiriyat, and also accusing us of not following what they say or Kashmiriyat. And if this is what they are envisaging for Kashmir, one withers to think what is the future that they have envisaged for the generations to come.
So we know that the NSA, the PM are all involved monitoring this situation, but since people all across the country are so emotionally attached to the Amarnath Yatra and all the Yatris who go there, what would you like to tell them? Because will there be a Yatra tomorrow morning? Our reporters are telling us that the Yatra will continue. How will you ensure fail-proof security, sir?
No, I fully agree with your sentiment, and I think that's the sentiment of every right-thinking Indian. That's a sentiment of every patriot Indian. And those who have been speaking in apologetic phrases and expressions would have to do a course correction, because you cannot distinguish between good terror and bad terror. And having said that, as far as the continuation of the Yatra is concerned, I think it will be out of place for me to actually make a final comment on that. The security agencies are taking cognizance of that, and whatever is in the best interest of the safety of the pilgrims, as well as the safety at large, would be decided by tomorrow morning.
Okay, and also, Dr. Singh, before I let you go, this is obviously an attempt to try and create tension. And this is a very crucial juncture in India. This is an attempt to try and inflame communal passions also. That's what these terrorists are trying to do. You know, how do you reach out to try and ensure that, while of course there will be a response militarily, our special forces, the best India has on offer, will go and get the perpetrators of this dastardly attack? How do you ensure that everyone just stays calm and lets the forces do their job, sir?
If you permit me,
sir,
I think I'm out of line.
No, I hear you, sir. I hear you.
Yeah, if you permit me, I would just like to add to that on a very serious note, and I hope all the concerned would introspect on that. What you have said is very well taken. But what is more important is that those of us in public life who profess to be part of the mainstream politics also tend to get tempted to use a language which tends to appease a certain constituency. And I think what is happening today, or what is being witnessed today, is partly an outcome of that. And some of those Kashmir-centric politicians and political parties which claim to be so-called mainstream political parties would also have to rethink about how they wish to go about with it.
So because now we're seeing these very empty messages from Hurriyat leaders like Mirwais Omar Farooq and, you know, the entire gang of Hurriyat leaders trying to come out and make it seem as if their heart is bleeding for these pilgrims who were killed on the way to the Amarnath shrine.
Rahul, I am not also confining only to the Hurriyat.
Sure.
Because they are identified separatists. But those of them who claim to be non-separatists and are also the beneficiaries of everything that is available through mainstream politics also tend to if you ask any one of them, they would still have an apologetic reaction to what is happening. And I think that is something the nation has to ponder about.
Leave it over there. I realize that this is a tough and busy moment for you. You've got lots of calls to make, so I'm going to let you go. Dr. Jitendra Singh, for joining us in here today. Thank you very much. I want to go across to Kamaljeet Sandhu. She tracks the Ministry of Home Affairs for us. Kamaljeet, what can you tell us? MHA officials in Delhi monitoring the situation very closely. There have been so many terror attacks. Our reporters have been talking about how an Amarnath Yatra bus will be attacked. Multiple inputs, IB, RAW, You've got human intelligence on the ground, the Jammu and Kashmir police saying the same thing, and yet somehow a bus is allowed to go without any security around it?
Well, absolutely, Rahul. There have been multiple intelligence agencies who've been giving inputs about a possible terror attack on Amarnath Yatra. Their worst fears have now come true, but they have always been apprehensive, saying perhaps the yatra and not the convoy could be under attack and not the yatris itself, and perhaps they were fearing that the yatris may come under attack only in the garb of security forces. And here the ROP had ended at around 7:30. The forces were withdrawn, and that's when the vehicle came in. So it does talk about the security lapse, about how civilians managed to go to a yatra, were coming on their own when they came under attack. Subsequently, when the CRPF DIG and the commandant of 90 Battalion CRPF reached there, they come under a separate firing. And then there was another incident just near the railway station, we've been told. So number of attacks taking place simultaneously. It talks about a well-planned attack. We know there is a counter-offensive underway, trying to hunt down these perpetrators of terror crime. So yes, that's being done, but yes, Ministry of Home Affairs going into a huddle. Remember, this has been one of the most high-profile yatras. There have been, the Home Secretary himself had gone for the initiation of this particular yatra, but specifically speaking, there were operations which were done in tandem. CRPF, the army, Jammu Kashmir police working, a number of operations taking place in South Kashmir, but this is altogether a different story. With Yatra being under attack, it's happened after many years. It's going to change a lot of equations on ground, and obviously with number of people, including leaders like Mirwa, is now criticizing this particular attack. Doesn't really say much, but yes, this is going to put a lot of pressure on security forces to gun down those men who've killed innocent civilians.
Prof. Sawant is reporting that a special forces operation has been launched to nab and to take down these terrorists who've perpetrated this dastardly attack. Gaurav, what do you have for us? What can you tell us?
Rahul, all along the Yatra route, there were high-dot teams, highway domination teams. That is for an army convoy. But given the fact that Yatra was also going, army was dominating the area. But as Kamal was just pointing out, the main Yatris had passed. They had come back to their camps. The road opening party had been withdrawn, and these teams had also withdrawn. The special forces have a QRT, a quick reaction team, apart from the Rashtriya Rifles having their own QRTs. And the moment this incident happened and the CRPF came under fire, from what my sources are telling me, the armies responded immediately. At least 2 of these terrorists were on a motorcycle. So they may have abandoned that motorcycle. Those details we still do not have. But, the Jammu Kashmir Police SOG has given some intelligence inputs to the army, and the SOG and the army have mounted parallel operations. And the special forces are also there. The special forces were specially tasked to protect Amarnath Yatris, and they are the ones who are now, along with the Rashtriya Rifles, going out to destroy these terrorists and wherever they may be hiding.
Gaurav, tell me this, how is it even possible that a group of Yatris in the middle of so much security and tension leave without having any security deployment around them? Yes, we know that you're going to the Amarnath shrine, but this just simply doesn't add up. How did the forces on the ground allow them to move? What were these Yatris thinking? Why were they moving without security around them, Gaurav?
Rahul, that's a matter of investigation, because X number of vehicles, they move in a convoy, number of buses escorted by CRPF vehicles in the front, in the middle and in the rear, plus highway domination teams all over. So there was foolproof security put in place, and especially if you recall, Rahul, after the 26th June intelligence alert about Pakistani terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba trying to target the Amarnath Yatra, and especially during the convoy, more security had been put on the convoy route. What had happened was the main convoy had returned safely. After the convoy reached the camp, the highway domination teams had withdrawn. The road opening parties around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, when the Yatris came back, 2 hours after that, the highway domination team and the road opening party, they withdrew, and one bus for some reason, and that's a matter of investigation. Why was this bus lagging behind? Why did they not join the main yatra? Were they part of the registered yatra or were they unregistered yatris? That's a matter of investigation. We don't have clarity on that just as yet. But sources in Jammu and Kashmir police saying perhaps they were on a private yatra. Private yatri is not registered here. When that vehicle was coming, that vehicle was targeted. And Rahul, this shows...
Just for a moment, I've just received a message from Mehbooba Mufti. Mehbooba Mufti, Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, saying, and I'm going to read out to you a message we've received just moments before now. The Chief Minister is saying, this is an assault on our values and traditions which we hold dear. We will leave no stone unturned to root out the perpetrators of this heinous crime. This is Mehbooba Mufti sending a quick message out saying that all possible action will be taken. Gaurav, what can you tell us about why this one bus was moving without security?
Rahul, both the CRPF and the Jammu and Kashmir police are currently investigating that aspect, that why was this one bus not a part of the main yatra and why was it permitted to cross? There were 3 checkpoints that this bus crossed. Why was it permitted to cross the checkpoints and not stopped or not escorted? That's still a matter of investigation. As of now, some of the officers we were speaking to were directly involved in tracking these terrorists and trying to destroy those terrorists. So details are still awaited, Rahul. But somewhere down the line, this is a matter of investigation. Why was this bus lagging behind? There's also some confusion about the number plate of this bus, because all the buses that were registered for the yatra, each time they cross a barricade, Rahul, their number plates are struck off on the list that is drawn. Every day there's a list of all the buses that are a part of the convoy, and this particular vehicle, Rahul, apparently was not a part of that convoy. So was there were there touts who were illegally and this is where we are conjecturing, Rahul, we don't have details. Were they illegally taking people for the yatra who had not registered? All of that is now going to be a matter of investigation.
I've just received a call from the Home Minister's office, and the Home Minister's office is telling us multiple things. One, that a full review of security has been ordered to ensure that no other pilgrim is vulnerable, that there is no other attack that takes place. There will be a comprehensive review. They're also saying it's very unfortunate that this bus wasn't registered. These pilgrims were traveling without security, which they shouldn't have been. The Home Minister moments before now has spoken to the Prime Minister. He's also spoken to the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti. Kamaljeet Sandhu is joining us. She's tracking the MHA. She's just flashed a detailed report on information emerging, Kamaljeet, from the Ministry of Home Affairs about how this one bus came under attack and how its whole series of very unfortunate circumstances which left the bus in the situation it was. Go ahead, Kamaljeet.
Well, absolutely. We've just got a message coming in which says the militants first attacked a combined narca of the STF, the SOG and the CRPF. This was around 8:15 or so. There was no loss of life then. And then militants attacked this pilgrim bus, the Gujarat number bus, obviously carrying 6 civilians. 14 got injured. While they escaped, they also fired upon a camp. We've been also told while they were running away, they fired near a railway station, Hoshanpura, we've been told. That's the railway station that they were trying to target. Again, specifically coming in, it was a very well-planned attack. So considering that they had put in resources, they knew the yatris were coming in from a certain direction, and despite forces being deployed on the duty, they managed to create such a havoc. They managed to kill number of yatris. Now there are basic questions which are going to be asked as to who was behind these yatris. Did they get a VVIP pass? How were they managing to travel despite a convoy? The official convoy itself reached around 4 o'clock. It sped away towards Jammu. So after 3.5 hours later, at 7:30, the CRPF ROP, the road opening party itself, was withdrawn, and thereafter is the civilian bus coming in without any sort of an escort, being obviously a soft target for militants. That's where they've actually gone in. And even when the CRPF went in for the rescue, remember the CRPF DIG coming under severe attack, the commander of 90 Battalion coming under attack, which speaks about volumes. Whether they were on a motorcycle, we do not know. Sources saying it was extremely dark. There was firing which was completely happening at that point of time. So difficult to know the number of militants, but a counter operation was immediately launched. This is going to be adding pressure on South Kashmir police, the Jammu Kashmir police, the CRPF and the SOG, and remember the army itself. there have been spate of attacks in South Kashmir. This is completely not so anticipated, because Yatris is something, whether it is terror groups, whether it's the Yatris, whether it is the separatists, all said the Yatra would not be affected, but whatever's happened on ground is quite to the contrary. So yes, we know the Ministry of Home Affairs has gone to a huddle. Rajnath Singh, Ajit Doval, all briefing the Prime Minister. This is being taken at the highest of level, but this is going to change a lot of equations on ground. Remember, there's going to be a lot of anger from the people itself. People there in Jammu and Kashmir completely welcome the Yatris. It is the Muslims who are the caretakers of this Yatra. They usually welcome all those who are coming from across the country, which has been going on for several years now, and this is a huge setback for the Yatra. We've been told by top sources the Yatra will not stop at any cost. Nothing will change, but yes, there will be a massive investigation as to how this unescorted vehicle got in where it was and where was the lapses.
I've just got an image from our colleague Gopi Manyar in Ahmedabad. This is a bus apparently from Gujarat, Valsad, and the bus number is, let's just see if we can come close, GJ09Z9976. So GJ09Z9976. That's the bus. So it's a bus coming from Gujarat. Now we don't know whether or not this is intentional, that a bus from Gujarat was targeted, but the bus that was targeted is a bus from Gujarat. What we're also being told, just give me a moment as I try and find that message, is that the owner of the bus, his son got attacked in this. His name is Jawahar Bhai Desai. These people were coming from Valsad in Gujarat. That's where the bus had taken off from. So this is the information that we've got. Details about how this attack unfolded. Gaurav, you know, the government is obviously looking at a whole series of response measures. What are the various response measures they would be looking at? What can we do?
Rahul, the government had war-gamed a terror strike on the Yatra and on the convoy, but you know, it was war-gamed during day hours, because post-sundown there wasn't supposed to be either a Yatra or the convoy going back. And this, you know, the story that you're just breaking explains that this bus wasn't a part of the official Yatra, and that is why perhaps the security forces weren't aware of it. But the fact remains, Rahul, why was this bus permitted to be in that area? Why wasn't it stopped at the multiple checkpoints? And that will be a part of the security review. As far as the going after these terrorists is concerned, Rahul, from what sources were telling India today was that initial inputs had come in from the Special Operations Group of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, based on which the army had mounted a counter-terror operation along with the J&K police. So apart from gunning down these terrorists, there would be a wider network that would be involved in this terror attack, considering they've targeted multiple points, including a CRPF officer and his convoy. So they would then go after this entire network, and that would be the effort to ensure that they stand neutralized. If there is a Pakistan angle to it, as the intelligence input had earlier suggested on the 26th of June, that would also be further investigated, along with the overall of the security that's been put in place for the Amarnath Yatra, Rahul.
Okay, Rahul Srivastav is joining us. Rahul Srivastav is our National Affairs editor. He's reporting on the conversations between the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, and the Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister. The government keeping a very close eye on what's happening. This is a massive provocation. The attack on a civilian bus, an unguarded, unescorted civilian bus, is really, really unfortunate. Rahul Srivastav is joining us. Rahul, what's the latest that you can tell us? What are your sources in the government telling you?
Rahul, what we can say that alarm bells are ringing as far as the Lutin zone is concerned. The Prime Minister is personally monitoring every aspect of it. One, he is being briefed by the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval. The Home Minister has been speaking to the Chief Minister and the security agency heads and the State Governor. The basic issue with this issue is that, one, the government has to ensure that all those who have been injured get proper treatment and attention. Beyond that, the Yatra has to continue, because that will have very serious ramifications. The other element is that what are the weak points which are there, which the terrorists could exploit and inflict such injuries as far as the Amarnath Yatra is concerned. Remember, it's not Amarnath Yatra is not just
Moment, Prime Minister Modi has tweeted seconds before now. I want to read what the Prime Minister is saying. He says, pain beyond words on the dastardly attack on peaceful Amarnath Yatris in Jammu and Kashmir. The attack deserves the strongest condemnation from everyone. The Prime Minister goes on to tweet, my thoughts are with all those who lost their loved ones in the attack in Jammu and Kashmir. My prayers with the injured. He says, I have spoken to the Governor and the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir and assured all possible assistance required. So the Prime Minister himself keeping a close eye on this terror attack and also looking at various response measures. Rahul.
Yes, Rahul, the government has to ensure that all the weak points which were existed, which the terrorists could exploit, are plugged. That's what the Home Minister has told the security agencies and also the Chief Minister of the state. This is trouble for the government. This is certainly bad publicity because the government came to power with a promise of being tough on terror. And the Amarnath Yatra is not just an ordinary yatra. It has tremendous political and other connotations. And an attack on the yatra, when the yatris go back home, will definitely mean bad publicity. And that's where comes the political worry for the government. And that is why what we are being told by top government officials is that in a day or two, and as early as tomorrow morning, the Prime Minister and others will get down together for getting, what do you call it, total, complete review of the security arrangements as far as the Amarnath Yatra is concerned. The idea will be to ensure there are no such weak points as what Gaurav was reporting. If there are certain elements like that, those have to be plugged. If the regular yatra has certain weak points, those have to be plugged.
Singh is the Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. I'm told he's joining us on this broadcast. Dr. Singh, this is a very disturbing moment for all Indians. A terrible attack on the Amarnath Yatra. You're looking at the situation very closely. Dr. Singh, what can you tell us, sir? Dr. Nirmal Singh, can you hear me? Give me a moment as I try and get Dr. Nirmal Singh back with us on the phone. These are the images that you're seeing from Anantnag. Images taken soon after this terror attack. The Prime Minister, moments before now, has put out a bunch of tweets. I want to read once again what the Prime Minister is saying. The Prime Minister tweets to say, I have spoken to the Governor and Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir and assured all possible assistance that's required. India will never get bogged down by such cowardly attacks and the evil designs of hate. The Prime Minister is saying that we will do what we can. India will never get bogged down by such cowardly attacks. I've spoken to the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir and assured of all possible assistance that's required. We're also being told by Gaurav Sawant that the Indian Army Special Forces are now hot on the hunt of these terrorists. They apparently, Gaurav, came in on a motorcycle and that's how they were able to get so close to the bus.
Rahul, that's the initial input that came in based on what eyewitnesses told the security forces. Two terrorists on a motorcycle, they fired at this bus. Initially, the information was that they fired at the security forces. The CRPF or the Jammu and Kashmir police, they fired at their vehicle. The bus came in the crossfire. The security forces, from what CRPF officials have told me, could not fire back because they could not. They did not want civilians to be injured. Initially, they did not even know that there were yatris in this bus. They just saw a civilian bus, is what sources tell India Today. But the terrorists continued to fire, and that is where these 6 pilgrims were, at that point of time, we were told injured. Now we are sadly being told that 6 passed away. There are some who were injured. That's when the CRPF retaliated. The terrorists fled towards the CRPF camp. We are told there was firing there. There was firing at another location. So,
Nirmal Singh, one second. Deputy Chief Minister Dr. Nirmal Singh. Dr. Singh, can you hear me, sir?
Of course, yes.
Sir, this is a very disturbing moment. You're keeping a close eye on the situation. Can you tell our viewers, sir, what's happening right now, sir?
Actually, this bus, this bus belonged to Gujarat, and they had come from Darshana 2 days back. They were in Srinagar.
So they'd already done the darshan?
Yes, 2 days back.
Okay.
And they were in Srinagar. I don't know why they decided to go from Srinagar to Jammu. They started from Srinagar at 5 p.m. That was the reason. And the rest of the yatra that had already left valley about 3 p.m. in the daylight. But these people, they started here and they reached a spot where they were attacked at 8:30. Actually, at 7:30, ROP, Road Opening Party, it withdraws. So that became the reason for all this. We are going into the investigation. We are finding out the labs, why they were allowed, why the Naka Party didn't stop them. Definitely, we are
Dr.
taking
Singh, with
care.
respect, and I know that this is hardly the right moment for a blame game, but there's so much security, army, CRPF, police. How was this bus allowed to ply after the road opening party had already left?
So far as Yatra is concerned, 30,000 people they are on the job. So at 7:30 in the evening, the ROP, other security, that is withdrawn. That's a routine matter. Because, and ultimately, these people, they why now? I don't know why they decided to go. They started at 5 p.m. and they reached on the spot at 8:30 p.m. What was the reason? We don't know. But we are finding it out. 6 casualties are there. 15 people are there injured. They are all safe. Rest of the yatris, they are also very safe. And most probably we are shifting them to their homes tomorrow.
Sir, how many yatris are injured? Where are they right now? And there are so many people coming in for yatra from all across the country. They're looking at these images very, very disturbed, very, very worried. As Deputy Chief Minister of the state, what would you like to tell them, sir?
Actually, all these yatris, they are safe. 15 are injured, they are out of danger. Others, they are safe. They are at a safe place. They shall be shifted to their homes tomorrow. We are planning for that. And even there is dead bodies. We are shifting those dead bodies from Anantnag to Srinagar in the night. So we are taking care, but unfortunate has been happened, and it's due to the labs. We are finding it out whose labs it is. Definitely we will take action accordingly.
Sir, what about the other yatris who are still there? How will you try and ensure that an attack of this nature doesn't happen again?
They are safe. They are safe. Yatra, as I told you, that Yatra which came from Jammu, that reached their destination, and the Yatra which left this Amarnath, they also reached their destination. So Yatra was safe, but this was, though it belonged to the Yatris, but they were not in the convoy. Thank you, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Singh. I don't want to hold you for longer. Arun Jaitley, the Minister for Defence and Finance, has also tweeted just moments before now. This is the first time we are hearing from Arun Jaitley. Let me quickly tell you what Arun Jaitley has said. He's put out a bunch of 2 tweets. I'll just read them out to you. Terrorist attack on the Amarnath Yatra is the most reprehensible act. My condolences to the bereaved families. This incident should add to our determination to eliminate terrorism. Gaurav Sawant is joining us. Gaurav, we know at the highest levels in government, the government looking at various options, reviewing security. I want to go across to Saifuddin Soz, senior Congress leader, joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Soz, what do you make? You're the one who said recently that Burhan Wani should still be alive. Now look at these people. This is Burhan's gang, and look at the kind of damage they're doing to India and to Kashmiriyat, Mr. Soz.
I never said that. That we come straight away to the heinous crime that has been committed today against the Yatris. You talk about that. It's a heinous crime against humanity, and every person in whole of India, in the whole world, must condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Jitendra Singh, the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, he says those who've been soft on terror are as much to blame for what's happened tonight with these Amarnath Yatris.
Listen to me. I heard Prime Minister's statement, Mr. Arun Jaitley's statement, and Jitendra Singh Ji's statement. I join them in the condemnation of this heinous crime committed by the marauders. Kashmir police has been working very hard these days, and I appeal to them, please work hard and bring these culprits to book for the satisfaction of every Kashmiri, every Indian.
What should India's response be to this dastardly attack?
The first thing is that please get to know the lapses in security, because this bus was not part of the regular, yatra. That is what the television says here. But even so, and they crossed that village around 8 p.m. when there was no ROP available. So that the security lapse is something else. But what these marauders have done is a heinous crime against humanity. Every Kashmiri and every one citizen of India, my country, must condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Very much, Mr. Saifuddin Soz, for joining us. I want to go across now to Gopi Manyar. Gopi is our correspondent in Ahmedabad. Gopi has had an opportunity to get some details about the bus, which was from Gujarat, which had taken all the yatris to the pilgrimage site and was on its way back. Gopi, what can you tell us about the origins of these yatris?
बिल्कुल राहुल, मैं आपको बता दूं, ये जो यात्री है फिलहाल जिस तरीके से सरकार के पास से, गुजरात सरकार के पास से खास करके जो जानकारी मिल रही है, ज्यादातर यात्री जो है वो वापी, वलसाड़ और उमरगांव के रहने वाले हैं। जो बस पे अटैक हुआ है जिसका नंबर GJ9 बताया जा रहा है, ये बस भी हालांकि रजिस्ट्रेशन इसका हिम्मतनगर साबरकांठा से है, लेकिन ये बस वलसाड़ के ओम ट्रैवल्स करके है। जवाहर देसाई जिनका नाम बताया जा रहा है, जो ट्रैवल्स कंपनी के मालिक है, उनकी ये बस है। हालांकि उनसे हमारी बात नहीं हो पाई है, लेकिन हमारे जो सहयोगी है वलसाड़ में, उनकी जो बात हुई है उनके मुताबिक जवाहर देसाई का बेटा भी खुद इस बस में सवार था, जिसे भी गोली लगी है, वो भी घायल हुआ है। हालांकि गुजरात सरकार से जो हमारी बातचीत हुई है, गुजरात सरकार का ये कहना है कि उन्होंने श्रीनगर में वहां पे सरकार से बातचीत करके जितने भी गुजराती यात्री घायल हुए हैं उनके लिए सुविधा मुहैया करवाने के लिए कहा गया है। फिलहाल राहुल इस मामले में इतनी ही जानकारी मिल पा रही है। राहुल,
okay, and Gopi, you also had an opportunity to get some details about where these yatris were coming from. Do we know how many total people were on this bus? How are the others doing right now? Where are they?
राहुल, फिलहाल जो वहाँ पे यात्री है, जो जानकारी मिल पा रही है वो यही जानकारी मिल पा रही है कि 6 से 7 लोग वहाँ पे घायल हुए हैं। हालांकि जो लोग गंभीर तौर पर घायल हुए हैं उन लोगों को श्रीनगर अस्पताल में शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है। इस तरीके की जानकारी यहाँ जो रिलेटिव्स है वो दे पा रहे हैं। राहुल,
very much, Gopi, for joining us. Gaurav Sawant has some information now from the army on how the army is trying to take down the terrorists who perpetrated this attack. Gaurav, go ahead.
Rahul, the army, the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the Central Reserve Police Force, all three forces are operating together. There are some very credible leads, is what sources are telling India Today, which are being developed. There are some, technology-based inputs that have come in. They are also being harnessed. We do not know at this point of time whether it's a hot pursuit or whether terrorists are hiding in a particular locality where cordon and search operations are being mounted. But from what army sources were telling India Today in the Victor Force was that they were going after these terrorists. There were inputs and something would be expected in terms of whether they're able to corner them before they can escape or catch them with their weapons. We still do not know that. But these are parallel and joint operations being carried out, Rahul, both by the Jammu and Kashmir Police Special Operations Group, the CRPF and the Army in coordination with each other. While that's happening at a tactical level on ground, at the same time, security around the Yatra camps has also been strengthened. There were some contingencies that the security forces had taken into account, especially because there were credible inputs about Pakistan-based terror groups trying to target the Yatra, just so that they could, inflame communal passions, not just in Jammu and Kashmir, but repercussions would be felt across the country is what terrorists and their handlers across the line of control were hoping. And given that situation, the security forces want to quickly neutralize these terrorists who are directly responsible for this terror attack. That's point one that we've learned. overall, Jammu and the CRPF are carrying out a security review meeting. The yatra is not being called off. That is what sources are telling India Today very clearly, because that would be admission of failure. Anyway, the yatra is very secure, Rahul. The yatra has been foolproof so far, because when the convoy passes through any route, so not only are both sides dominated, the heights dominated, but there are security forces in front of the yatra, in front of the convoy, in the middle of the convoy, and they bring up the rear of the convoy, flanking the convoy on either side. So it's almost like a foolproof security, given the fact that terrorists can strike and run away. The road on either side is also being secured by the security forces when the yatra passes. So that was the level to which security forces, Army, J&K Police and CRPF went into detail to ensure it was a trouble-free yatra. Unfortunately, this was one bus which wasn't a part of the main yatra, and as Nirmal Singh, the Deputy Minister of India today, that this was a bus that wasn't registered. It had gone to Srinagar, and that's where the security lapses, that it was permitted to leave Srinagar post 5:30 p.m. when everybody knows that the route from Srinagar to Kazigund takes good 3.5 hours, and there is no way that this bus could have crossed the Banihal Tunnel or Jawahar Tunnel before nightfall. So why was this bus permitted to leave a secure camp in Srinagar?
They picked a bus from Gujarat. They've been able to target a bus at a time when it was particularly vulnerable, moving around without security personnel flanking it. So obviously, okay, R.R. Bhatnagar is the Director General of the Central Reserve Police Force, the CRPF. He's joining us. Mr. Bhatnagar, do you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I realize that this is a very tough time. I won't take too much of your precious time. You're in charge of CRPF operations. What can you tell us on the ground? What's going on, sir?
Right now, you see, the injured are being shifted to Srinagar, and the rest of them have been treated at the RR camp and are being shifted to our camp at night, and they would be kept there overnight, and then in the morning they will be shifted. And as you know, the incident has taken place at Bhatanga, that is Khanabal. And this was a bus. The convoys had already, all the 4 convoys had already passed, up and down convoys, had already been escorted and passed. And this bus was not part of the convoy. It was coming later at about 2020 when this incident happened.
With respect, sir, at a time when there's so many thousand personnel on the ground guarding the Amarnath Yatra, how was this bus allowed to move without security flanking it, sir?
You see, the arrangements are clear that, you know, the movement is in convoys, and the instructions and the advisories have also been issued to the Yatris. And this was not also a registered bus of the Yatra. So, the arrangements, as you know, are for the convoys which pass through, they are duly escorted. And after that, subsequently also, there was a firing at our camp, which is at the Hasanpura railway station at Arwani. After this incident, there was one firing incident there also, in which there are no injuries. So we are following up on the incident now.
So what are you doing in the aftermath of this attack to ensure that the pilgrims are safe, they feel safe, and that there's no panic?
See, with the JK Police, the arrangements are in place, and like I told you that the Yatris are being escorted and the arrangements are there, and they would continue to work and as per the scheme which has been worked out.
Okay, thank you very much. I really feel bad holding you. That's the Director General of the CRPF. He has a tough operation, a tough night tonight, so we're just going to leave it there. R.R. Bhatnagar speaking to India Today, the CRPF DG. This is, of course, a very, very troubling time, because remember, it was in 2000, 17 years ago, that an attack took place on a CRPF convoy. Gaurav Sawant is joining us. We're seeing these latest images. Sujaul Haq, in fact, has now managed to get very close to the attack site, becoming the first journalist to get as close as is possible. Remember, traffic is blocked there. There will be concerns, Gaurav, in trying to figure out how to resume the yatra from tomorrow morning. Will it be business as usual, or is it simply not possible for it to be business as usual?
Rahul, additional forces will be deployed tomorrow morning is what CRPF sources tell India Today. The yatra will go on, at least unless there is a late night order from either the state government or the central government, the yatra will go on. That's the standing order as of now. But with additional deployment of security forces on either side of the yatra route, and non-convoy vehicles will not be permitted at all, because this is the only lapse that's been noticed so far. All 4 convoys, as Mr. Bhatnagar, the DG of CRPF, was telling you, convoy vehicles passed, ROP was withdrawn 2 hours after, and that is standard operating procedure. The 2 hours after the last vehicle had passed, it was after that that the convoy, the ROP was stopped, was withdrawn, and after that this bus went. So why was this bus permitted? That's the lapse. Subsequently, from tomorrow, there will be additional deployment of highway domination teams, flanking teams. The yatra will go on, but more layers will be added to ensure that terrorists do not succeed in getting close to the yatra. But that's defensive. Army sources were earlier telling India Today that offensive operations were already underway, and that is where terrorists were on the back foot. This one group somehow seemed to have succeeded in striking the moment the guard was down, Rahul, which also indicates how strong their intelligence network is, Rahul.
It's quite remarkable, the kind of intelligence they had on the ground, the terrorists, because they knew which bus was vulnerable, they knew where to attack it, they knew that this particular bus didn't have any security flanking it. I've got the first image of this bus. These are all our reporters filing this information, so it'll just take some time to get it up on the screen. But let me show you on my smartphone. Till then, this is the bus that got attacked. This image coming from our Gujarat correspondent. This is the bus, this fateful bus that got attacked. The former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, has put out rather controversial tweets. I just want to read out to you what Omar Abdullah is saying. Omar Abdullah, moments before now, has tweeted to say, request Rajnath Singh ji to instruct all state government and other authorities to be extra vigilant in colleges, universities where Kashmiris are studying, also where people from Kashmir are residing for reasons of trade, livelihood in other states. Possibility of backlash cannot be ignored. That's Omar Abdullah. Now this seems to be is he being unnecessarily alarmist? Is this a fair warning to put out, Gaurav? Because he's saying that you can't ignore the possibility of a backlash. Is this really the right thing for a former chief minister to be saying at this very, very sensitive juncture?
Perhaps he should have said this in private to the Union Home Minister and to other chief ministers, but putting out a tweet like this, especially when passions are anyways high, for an ex-chief minister, for an ex-minister of state for external affairs who understands this country well, could be controversial at this point of time. But several friends in Kashmir at this point of time are in touch with their kin, Rahul, fearing a backlash, especially because terrorists have targeted unarmed yatris. This is as low as terror can get. So you don't expect much from Pakistan-sponsored terror. But the fact that this has happened is very alarming and very disturbing. So at a point like this, to prevent a backlash, perhaps Omar Abdullah is sending out a tweet like this to ensure that Kashmiris are not targeted in any attack across the length and breadth of this country. That's perhaps his attempt. But Rahul, at this point of time, there could still be more attacks either on the yatra or the convoy, and that is the big alarm because all of this Pakistan-sponsored terror, they do not stop with one attack. There could be more. Even today, they tried at 3 different places. They did not succeed, and now the security forces are after them. There could be other teams that could come out and try something, which is what the intelligence input also was, Rahul.
Sudhir Ranjan Sen, our senior colleague, is reporting that the government is apprehensive of a backlash in mainland India. That's what Omar tweeted as well. The government also concerned about the possibility of a backlash. I think this is really where everybody needs to be calm, sensible. What's happened is very, very unfortunate. But as Omar Abdullah tweeted that Kashmiris could be targeted, I really hope that that doesn't happen, because that would be very, very, very unfortunate. Sujaul Haq now joins us. He left the moment we heard of this terror attack from Srinagar. He now is very close to where this terror attack took place. There's a blockade, so he's not allowed to go to the site of the terror encounter, but he's as close as any journalist can get tonight. Suja, what are forces on the ground telling you? What are you seeing around you? Describe it to us.
Well, Rahul, immediately after this attack has taken place, a lot of, forces have been sent to the spot. What we've been told is that both the CRPF and the army are aiding the J&K police in carrying out sanitization and searches, from all sides of this particular area in Patengu. That exact spot where this attack took place falls bang on the national highway which connects Kashmir with the rest of the country, and for the moment the movement of vehicles on this stretch has been blocked. I just got an information that Chief Minister Mahbooba Mufti has herself left for the spot. She will take she will take a tour. She'll try and find out what exactly has happened. She will also meet those people who are injured. We also received a statement from her condemning the incident and saying that those who have carried out this attack will be taken to task.
Suja, our reporter in Srinagar, informing us that Mahbooba Mufti, Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, is currently on her way in the dead of the night towards Anantnag. Is that correct, Suja?
Well, yes, absolutely, Rahul. Mahbooba Mufti has left her residence in Srinagar and she will be, going to the spot to Anantnag. This has been confirmed by very close sources to Mahbooba Mufti herself. As we speak, she is on the way to the spot.
Okay, and what else can you see around you? A lot of tension clearly on the ground. What else can you see around you, Suja?
Well, Rahul, yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of tension, around the focus of the entire machinery seems to be to ensure that those who have been injured in this attack get the best medical, help possible. Many of them have been even shifted to hospitals in Srinagar. And also to try and find out who were the people behind it, and there will be later on questions regarding what whether there were any lapses in the entire SOP that has been laid out for the yatra and how yatris should be flying out for pilgrimage. There are questions already arising as to what this vehicle, which was not registered, was doing at this point of time, during the night.
Okay, and also what kind of mobilization are you seeing around you in terms of bringing in extra security personnel, ensuring that this route is guarded, and also what information do you have about what might happen tomorrow morning?
Well, yes, Rahul, they're yet to take a call, what they would do with the yatra tomorrow, whether it will be suspended temporarily or will they continue with it. So far, officials have not sort of given any word on that particular front. But yes, I can confirm to you a lot of force deployment can be, seen, which has been mobilized towards the spot. Rahul, let's remember this area it's not the first time that an attack like this has taken place on the area of our army convoy. It has been prone to such attacks. Just that this time around, immediately after the attack, there was another vehicle which came under the fire. Why this vehicle was there, who allowed it to go there, is something that there'll be questions which will be,
Suja, and I want to tell our viewers, Suja is the only correspondent who currently is very close to where this actual encounter took place. So he's en route to the exact spot where this encounter took place. Our local stringer on the ground in Anantnag sent us this dispatch which captures what's happening at ground zero. Let's listen in.
बिल्कुल आप इस वक्त एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीर देख रहे हो कि यहाँ पे जम्मू श्रीनगर राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग अनंतनाग बटेंगू के पास आज एक बार फिर मिलिटेंट्स ने स्पेशल ऑपरेशन ग्रुप पर हमला किया है। फिलहाल मैं आपको बता दूं कि जम्मू श्रीनगर राष्ट्रीय राजमार्ग को यातायात के लिए बंद किया गया है और उसके साथ साथ जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस स्पेशल ऑपरेशन ग्रुप और सेंट्रल रिजर्व पुलिस फोर्स ने पूरे इलाके को कॉर्डन ऑफ कर दिया है। और उसके साथ साथ इस वक्त आप एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीर देख रहे हो कि कैसा माहौल यहाँ पे बना हुआ है। चारों तरफ यहाँ पे इस वक्त कॉर्डन ऑफ कर दिया गया है।
The tour organizer who took these tourists from Valsad in Gujarat, Yogesh जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हेलो, पहले एक बात बता दूं, मैं टूर ऑर्गेनाइजर नहीं हूँ। टूर ऑर्गेनाइजर है ओम ट्रैवल जवाहरभाई देसाई।
आपका क्या, मेरे को बताया गया कि आप जानते थे उन लोगों को?
उनके साथ गया था, साथ में हूँ, मैं उनके साथ में ही हूँ, गया हूँ साथ में, और ऑर्गेनाइजर है जवाहरभाई देसाई ओम ट्रैवल वलसाड। ठीक है, आप इस वक्त कहाँ पे हैं योगेश भाई? मैं ये अनंतनाग करके गांव है ना, वहाँ मिलिट्री कैंप में हूँ, बेस कैंप में हूँ। और वो उनका डेड बॉडी का शिनाख्त करना है और सबको मिलना है जो इंजर है उसको, इसलिए मैं इधर आया हूँ।
आप क्या उस बस में थे जहाँ पे अटैक हुआ? आप उस वक्त
बस में आगे ही था, मैं बैठा हुआ।
आप उसी बस के अंदर थे जिसमें अटैक हुआ योगेश भाई?
हाँ, अंदर ही था।
आप पहले ऐसे शख्स हैं जो कि उस बस में थे जिसमें अटैक हुआ, जो हमारे साथ इस वक्त बात कर रहे हैं। क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि एग्जैक्टली क्या हुआ? आप कहाँ से आ रहे थे, क्या हुआ योगेश भाई?
हम लोग अमरनाथ के दर्शन करने निकले थे कल श्रीनगर से। आज शाम को 5 बजे रवाना हुए थे कटरा जाने के लिए।
ओके,
तो फिर हमारा थोड़ा आगे 4 किलोमीटर आगे जाके पंचर हो गया, तो 2 घंटा हमारा वहाँ निकल गया। फिर हम लोग निकले और ये अनंतनाग से आगे 2 किलोमीटर पहले जो श्रीनगर वाला रास्ता है, वहीं से हमारा फिर सामने से फायरिंग हुई। सामने आगे का कांच शीशा पूरा टूट गया और साइड का राइट साइड का पूरा कांच सब एकदम अंदर टूट फायरिंग हुई, समझो।
उस वक्त बस में क्या चल रहा? लाजमी तौर पे आप लोगों को एकदम ऑफ गार्ड कैच किया होगा। उस वक्त बस में क्या चल रहा था?
बस में हम सफर कर रहे थे और ये ड्राइवर को भी सामने से फायरिंग हुई, लेकिन शीशा भी पूरा ये हो गया, डैमेज हो गया। फिर उसने हमने बोला कि गाड़ी भगाओ, तो हमने गाड़ी, उसने ड्राइवर ने पूरा झुक के भी गाड़ी पूरा आगे ले लिया, पूरा भगा दिया। इधर तक हम कैंप तक आए, 1.5-2 किलोमीटर तक आ गए गाड़ी भगा के। अंदर तो सब लोग चिल्ला रहे थे, सबको लगी थी, 15-16 आदमी को लगी थी और सब 2-4-5 लगभग 6 या 7 कुछ डेड बॉडी है, ऐसा कुछ बोला है हम लोगों ने। अभी शिनाख्त कर रहे हैं हम।
योगेश भाई, कितने लोग घायल हुए जो आपके साथ बस पे थे? वो अभी कहाँ पे, उनकी हालत कैसी?
15-16 घायल है, उसमें सब हॉस्पिटल में है। वो अभी उनका मेरे से मुलाकात नहीं हुई, मैं भी जा रहा हूँ वहाँ।
योगेश भाई,
6 या 7 लोग हैं।
योगेश भाई, इतना बड़े हमले के बाद थोड़ा अजीब भी लगता है ये पूछना, लेकिन एक सवाल इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप रोड ओपनिंग पार्टी के बगैर वो बस में क्यों मूव कर रहे थे? आप सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के बगैर क्यों देर रात को जा रहे थे?
2-2.5 घंटा पंचर हो गया ना, पंचर में हम लोग पंचर बनाए, बाद में निकला, फिर तो कोई छुटका ही नहीं, आने में पड़े सामने से, इसलिए हम वहाँ लेट हो गए।
बट योगेश भाई, वेट कर सकते थे ना अगले दिन सुबह तक के लिए, क्या जल्दी थी वापस आने की?
हम लोग 5 बजे निकल रहे थे, 5 बजे तक वहाँ से निकल चुके थे। 5 बजे तो कोई प्रॉब्लम है नहीं, तो इधर बस ये रास्ता पास हो जाता था, आगे तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है ना।
अच्छा योगेश भाई, जो लोग पैसेंजर्स थे, क्या उनके बारे में आप कुछ बता सकते हैं? कौन बाकी लोग थे इस बस पे, कहाँ से आए, क्या उनका बैकग्राउंड?
हमारे दो बड़ौदा के 2 लोग थे, एक कपल था बड़ौदा का, एक लेडीज सूरत की थी, एक लेडीज वलसाड़ की थी, 2 दिल्ली मोरा के थे कपल, बाकी थोड़े बहुत वलसाड़ के थे। इधर अपना उदवाड़ा गांव है वलसाड़ के बाजू में, वहाँ के थे 3-4 लोग। अपना दाणू के थे, दमन के थे। दाणू यानी महाराष्ट्र में पड़ता है।
अच्छा, तो कुल मिला के कितने लोग थे उस बस पे योगेश भाई?
हमने टोटल पैसेंजर के साथ में मिला के स्टाफ और ड्राइवर कंडक्टर सबको गिना तो 60 लोग थे।
ये आपका जो टायर पंक्चर हुआ योगेश भाई, वो कहाँ पे टायर पंक्चर हुआ?
और श्रीनगर से बस 4 या 5 किलोमीटर पर एक गाँव पड़ता है, वहीं हम लोग वहाँ 2-2.5 घंटे रुकना पड़ा, क्योंकि एक बार टायर हो गया उसने बना ले, फिर वापस खोलना पड़ा, दूसरा पंचर भी था।
उस टाइम पे आपके साथ सिक्योरिटी पर्सनल नहीं थे?
नहीं, कोई नहीं था। हमारा वो उसका अवन जवन था सिक्योरिटी का रास्ते से, और वहाँ कोई प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं था।
आप लोग यात्रा जब गए, क्या आप लोग शांत थे या आप टेंस थे? इतना ज्यादा टेंशन था, थ्रेट्स था, उसके बावजूद आप लोग वहाँ पे गए?
नहीं, जो हम वहाँ से निकले, जो टेंशन तो है, लेकिन अभी अमरनाथ के दर्शन करना था तो गए थे।
अब आपका यहाँ से क्या प्लान है? क्या सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने आपको कुछ बताया योगेश भाई?
नहीं, अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं बताया। अभी एक मीटिंग चल रही है उनकी और बातचीत हो रही है। अभी तो सिर्फ शिनाख्त हो रही है डेड बॉडी की।
अच्छा योगेश भाई, ये बताएं कि आपके साथ, क्योंकि पूरे देश में इस वक्त लोग आपको देख रहे हैं, आपके साथ जो लोग हैं बाकी, वो कहाँ पे हैं इस वक्त योगेश भाई?